Callers Bigfoot Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Nite Callers Bigfoot Radio. It is May 20th, 2018, and you are here with your hosts, Lori Hood and Lauren Smith. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I'm doing fine. Am I still breaking up?
Nope.
I got the phone right next to my head.
You sound good. All right.
I just wanted to say hello to everybody out there and thank them for listening to us tonight, and let y'all know this is our last show of the season. So we'll be back September 2nd. So if we run out of time by the end of the show, we just want to say thanks for listening in. But we've got a great show tonight. Very exciting. Go ahead, Lauren. You were going to talk about what we were going to talk about.
That's what I was going to talk about. The last show of the season, and again, I wanted to thank everybody for listening, for supporting us, and know that we all appreciate you guys all listening. We would like if you guys, just really get a craving for some Nite Callers, you can go back to our archives and listen to our old shows over the summer. You can go on YouTube and listen to old shows, Blog Talk. Watch our Facebook for updates over the summer, and if you are on the go, squatching or just hanging out, fun in the sun all summer, you can listen to Nite Callers on the go with the Stitcher app, and that's Stitcher like you're stitching something.
Cool.
I don't know how to say that. Anyway,
last weekend,
go ahead.
Lauren and I went on a outing at an undisclosed location in Broken Bow. No. That's where we've been staying. But we had the most wonderful time. I got to meet up with Dan and Vicki again after, like 9 years. Oh, it was so wonderful to see them. And we got to meet some great people, some people with Sawdust Beast and also the Sisters of the Moon. And so anyway, we have almost everybody here tonight we're going to kind of hash over some of the different things we tried, the different techniques and experiences that we had and such like that. So I think that what we'll do first is we'll just bring on each person and let them say hello, and then we'll start the whatever you want to talk, the gathering around an invisible fire. How about that tonight? Okay. The first ones I wanted to talk to is Vicki and Dan. Vicki and Dan, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, y'all.
Hey there.
Okay. And we also have Sandy Hoyle from the Sisters of the Moon. Sandy.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
How y'all doing? Hello.
Hello.
Good to be here.
We also have Carrie Martin from the Sisters of the Moon. Say hello, Carrie.
Doing good. How are y'all?
Okay. We also have Debbie Jones from Sisters of the Moon. Say hello,
hey, y'all.
Debbie.
Hi there.
And we also have Henry from Sisters of the Moon. Say hello, Henry.
Hi, from deep southeast Oklahoma.
We also have Mark Newbill from Sawdust Beast. Mark, say hello.
Hey, everyone.
And we have Larry from Sawdust Beast as well. Larry Porch. Larry, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. I don't know It's good to have all of y'all here. I don't know where Lauren went. She put herself on mute. She must be putting them children down. So
I'm here.
I'm just going to have all these. Are you? Okay, Lauren. How do you want to get this started?
We could just start from the beginning. We can start with Friday night. What we all did, what we tried. I know the weekend wasn't really that full of action like we hoped it would be, but it was still pretty interesting. I learned a lot and learned a lot about the area that we squatched in. So I didn't know if anybody wanted to speak up and tell kind of what we did and because I know each group had a different experience. So.
Well, okay. Friday night was the night that a lot of us got in. Now, some of the people had gotten there earlier. Debbie and Carrie had gotten there earlier, and sometime during the night, Vicki and Larry and Mark got there. Vicki, Dan, Larry, and Mark. So, did anything happen Friday night?
Thursday night.
Thursday.
Thursday night we were attacked by killer raccoons.
Yeah. The raccoons were horrid.
That was pretty much the most exciting we had.
Size of miniature Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Tell them what they did to you though, because that's like I've been telling everybody I've run into that asked me about my trip over the weekend. I told them about the raccoons and what they did to you.
Well, they had absolutely no fear of the humans. I mean, they came up within feet of us and were kind of staring at us like, what are y'all doing here? And where did you put your food? And so I have a pretty big tent, and I had gotten there late. It was probably about 9:30 or 10 when I got there, and Carrie, Sandy, and Barbara were already there and set up. And so I set my tent up, and I left the rain fly off because it was just an absolutely beautiful evening, And so I thought, well, I'll just leave it off, and it'll be cool. And I had forgotten that I had opened some cookies on my way, on my drive, because I had like a 5.5-hour drive. And I had put the bag of cookies down in my bag, my purse, which I had carried into my tent. And I had everything zipped up really good. And we had shooed those raccoons off I don't know how many times and taken pictures of them and everything.
Raccoons.
They were huge. But we started hearing videos. You got a video of me running?
I wish I had videoed running after them raccoons, chasing them off, testing them.
I tell you, if I'd have had a rope, I would have lassoed those raccoons. But I ran over there because I could hear the raccoon doing something to my tent. You could tell that it was doing something to the nylon. I could hear it, and it sounded like it was ripping. And I ran over and shooed one off, went back over into camp because we were just adjacent to each other. And then within minutes, I heard it again, and I looked over, and there was a huge raccoon on top of my tent trying to figure out how to get down through that mesh top. And if I hadn't gotten over there, it looked like he was on a trampoline almost. He was bouncing around. And I screamed and hit him and hit at him, and he went bouncing off of the tent and running down through the little opening. But later on, we found out the next day or so that one of the raccoons had taken his little claws and cut an L shape into the tent and had reached in there and emptied out every single one of those cookies, got them, but left the bag, of course, in my tent. And then the day we were taking the tent down, we saw another hole that it had left. And so I've got a little bit of mending to do on my tent.
Oh, that's a nice tent, everybody. It's one of those large pop-ups. It's very nice. Got a little Porch edition on the front. It's very nice. Wow. Okay, so what time did Dan and Vicki get there? Dan, Vicki, Larry, and Mark.
Golly. We got there about 4:30 in the morning, I believe.
Wow.
It was a long drive.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Very long.
And a very short night to sleep in.
But it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess y'all didn't visit much.
Lord,
getting in at 4:30 in the
riding
morning.
with Mark and Larry, it's going to be funny no matter what. So the time really passed pretty good.
Oh,
it did. And me and Dan, well, all of us smoked but Larry. So we made it pretty good, all considered, on maybe 3 cigarettes the whole trip.
Wow. Well, that's not what made you hoarse.
Well, no, that wasn't.
On the way.
It was hot there, and we would be out in the daytime, and all of us could get hot, and then we'd all jump in the truck, if y'all remember, and say, "Turn the heat on, please," or the air on, turn it on high. And I was one of those hollering that, and it kind of gave me a cold.
Yeah.
I'm sure lack of sleep didn't help that.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Well, Lauren and I got there on Friday. I think everybody was there by then, weren't they? Or except maybe Henry. Henry came right after we got there.
Henry was there, actually. She got there in the middle of the night, Thursday night, because she and I were up waiting on Larry and Mark and Vicki and Dan when they got there. I think we all ended up going to bed about 6 in the morning.
Oh,
and I put about 8 or 9, I think, or 10.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it was definitely warm. And what else did we have? Plenty of ticks.
Oh, gosh.
They were terrible. You know,
they were.
Lauren had warned us they were going to be bad, but I didn't. I thought, well, this is further south in Tulsa, you know, but oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they were bad. It didn't matter where you were. You know, they'd be crawling on you, and then they were crawling on the tents. I was laying there, and I seen them on the outside of the little screened area, and I'm just like, good Lord. All places I've been, I've never seen them as bad as they were there.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
I hadn't seen them.
Yeah. Well, we were all spraying our ankles and our shoes and all of that, but then as soon as you went into your tent, they'd fall on you, and they'd be crawling on your arms. And
well, I actually slept with my little light. When I'd lay there, I'd feel him crawling, and I would get my light out and find him, and then get a hold of him and kind of hold him on my finger, and then I would torch him.
Yep.
That's about all I could do about it.
That's what I did.
I'd torch him. Some of them were so tiny, though. I've never seen some that were that tiny. I just had to flick them off and pray they didn't get in my hair.
Yeah.
Seed ticks.
So Friday night, we decided to split up and cover more ground. So, Debbie, you and Carrie and Sandy want to say, what did y'all do on Friday? Didn't y'all take off and go somewhere during the day?
Yeah. We went on that walk around Veterans Lake. And let me tell you, that was a long walk at night.
Oh, yeah.
It was super too, because the trees hung over the trail, and it was like walking through a tunnel of trees. And it was dark, and you couldn't see anything, and so every once in a while we'd turn our headlamps on to kind of see where the trail went, because it curved and wandered around that lake. And at one point, we had thought, or I had thought, that I saw something bent across the trail. That whatever it was on 4 legs, and I'm thinking it probably could have been a deer, but I didn't see any more after that. But it still kind of spooked us.
I bet.
what we had done during the day is we had all got loaded up into 2 vehicles.
Or at night? I'm sorry. Was this during the day that you saw this, or at night?
It was at night.
Oh, okay.
During the day, we had loaded up into 2 vehicles, and we had gone down to the one end of the lake, actually all the way down to one end of the natural forest. And we had checked out some of the trails that we could see on the map, and we wanted to follow the trail as much as we could to see where it ended up, and just kind of scope everything out and get the lay of the land during the day to decide, you know, what we wanted to do that night. And that's how we decided to split into 2 groups, or 3 actually, at nighttime. And one group was on one side of the lake and another group on the other side of the lake. And the groups walked and tried to end up meeting each other and see if there was anything that either side of the group saw along the way. Maybe we could kind of flesh them out and, you know, run into them together. And you, Lori, and Vicki, you sat back in one spot of the lake, and you could observe and listen and everything, because there has been so many sightings down around that particular lake in that area. And so everybody, you know, there was a lot of activity and sounds that we could hear, but I know the group I was in, it was me and Larry and Mark and Lauren. You know, we heard, I think, maybe one call back, and I was sick, so it'd probably be the best to let Larry and Mark and Lauren talk about what they heard.
Go ahead, guys.
Well, I'm going to just my thoughts. That's when I realized the caliber of researcher that Lauren was. Because at one spot we dropped Lori and Vicki off, and then Larry and Debbie stopped off at another spot. Lauren and I went on to meet the other group, and it was like we did not have to talk about where to slow down, to look at spots of interest. We didn't have to cut on lights. We were just able to communicate, you know, just by us looking at the environment, and it was like we knew what each other were thinking. And I don't know, I really appreciate that so much. And that was just such a nugget to be able to find, you know, because it's really important to have, to be with researchers that you mesh well with and you make a good team together.
Yeah. Especially on an outing, you're going to show up with, you know, a bunch of different researchers you've never researched with before, and you don't know, you know, their research styles could just be so different than yours. Some people are really into technology, some people aren't, some people are into, you know, different types of research that you may not agree with. So researching with Mark was great. We really had, you know, we meshed really well, like you said.
Wasn't there one time when you nearly crawled on his head?
Pretty much. There was one time we were standing on the trail. So keep in mind that Mark and I just kind of non-verbally decided we weren't going to use lights. We weren't going to use headlamps. And unless it was an absolute emergency, we wanted to go in there, you know, no lights, nothing. And at one point in the trail, we had stopped, and there was some rustling in the brush in front of us, and it got really loud, like it was coming at us. And up until that point, I'd been walking down that trail just brave as could be, and I never thought I'd be one of these people, but danged if I didn't dance around behind him and grab him and pull him in front of me like a human shield. and then at the same time, something behind us started rustling at the same spot. So it's in front of us and behind us. So I'm dancing around trying to use him as a shield because I don't know where this thing is and it's going to get me. And I knew it was small enough that it wasn't going to be, a sass. But I was more worried about it being something, skunk, I don't know, something that's going to come and get me, crawl up my leg, I don't know. But, so he handled it really well. He, didn't laugh at me too much and didn't make me feel stupid about it. And we kept on trucking down the trail in the dark and, kept on squatching. So it was really interesting, though. So that was the most action, that we had all night. Was, basically being attacked by an invisible armadillo or rabbit or something.
Well, I can say this. You are pretty fearless, Lauren, because not many people would walk down that trail without lights and just be sneaking around, making calls, and trying to bring something in on top of us. Because with that lake right there, we really had nowhere to run. If we brought something in on us, we'd have to go swimming.
Yeah. I just would outrun you, but,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, that was pretty, it got our adrenaline up. We got our adrenaline up, got a case of heebie-jeebies, as Mark called them, and then we kept on trucking, and so then we ran into the rest of the Sisters of the Moon and walked back around the entire lake and kind of listened to what they had found, and after that, I think we all loaded up and went to another spot.
I think so. Was that the same night?
Yeah.
Was it Saturday night? I can't even remember, and it's only been a week. But
I think that was the same night we went
at
to
that same location. Me and Vicki heard something. You remember that, Vicki?
Yeah.
We were sitting at some benches, just enjoying ourselves, and I kept seeing over by the bridge, and that was the bridge to the trail. And I kept thinking it was them coming back, but then they never did come. So you know how at night your eyes can play tricks on you, so I thought maybe that's what it was. And then we heard this loud sound. It sounded like somebody ran up on the bridge and then ran back off the bridge. And it was very startling. Wouldn't you agree, Vicki?
Yes, it was. But now you remember, we had already went down that trail a pretty good ways.
Yes.
And I was uncomfortable, but I was okay. And then I hit the point where, like, I'm just really not comfortable going any further. And so we started to meander on back. And we got up, to the bridge. One thing I noticed about this bridge, the first time we walked over it, it hardly made any noise at all. It had wood planks, but they were very tight. And hardly made any noise at all with us walking across it. But when we came back across it, and you may remember, it was doing these, I don't know, it was like squeaking or, I couldn't really determine if it was the bridge or if it was something under the bridge, maybe like a whistle. It was very unusual, but I did make mention of that to you. I said, when we came over this thing, it didn't make any noise at all. And here we've got these little noises. Well, we went on and we sat down and we was talking. And I think you done a whistle, I done a whistle, and we did have a whistle answer us back like the one I did. And we're just like, oh, well, that's cool. But as we were talking, we really weren't paying a lot of attention because we were talking. But like what she said about the sound on the bridge, I mean, it was distinct. It was loud. And like I said, they were wood planks. They were none rotted. They were all in good shape. And it reminds you, or it did me, of how a vehicle that would go over a plank bridge would sound, that bloop, 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 bloop. Mm-hmm. That's what it sounded like. But, of course, it's not no vehicle because the bridge ain't that big. but me and her both wheeled around real quick, and we're looking because we thought what was on the bridge. We didn't see anything. Now, I don't know what it was. Like I say, there was nothing for us to see, but she had her light, and we're looking, all around under the bridge best we could. We never did see anything that made that, but make no mistake, that was a loud, definite something that ran part of the way over the bridge and back off. Now, what that was, we do not know, but it was very, very interesting, and just never didn't see it or anything. That's something we can't explain what it was.
Well, did anyone here have any kind of experience that they thought might be Sasquatch related?
I know the girls on the other side of the lake, Terry and Sandy and Barbara and Henry.
Yes.
I think that side was a lot creepier than the side we were on.
Yeah.
And it was surrounded by woods a lot more. And I, when they had something run across it, I remember them talking about it.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, girl?
Well,
I did hear a yell that was not one of y'all's while we were walking around down there, because I had my recorder in my ear and was able to hear some things that they couldn't. But there was a couple of times of far-off yells that sounded kind of good.
Remember y'all saying y'all heard a whoop, or we heard a whoop. Mark and I heard a whoop that wasn't anybody else's.
Yeah, I remember y'all talking about that.
I think Lori and I heard a vocal. If I remember right, didn't we hear a vocal, Lori, off?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. But it wasn't close like we wanted.
Well, it sounded like a whoop way off, and we did hear that. And, but it's just, what I think that we all figured out was that they were moving in the wee hours of the morning, like after everybody had gone to bed, because it seemed like everywhere we went, we weren't getting any responses. If we did get a response, it's way off, and we felt like that, and I think everybody will agree with me, that we may have had some activity, but they weren't really interacting very much. Would everybody agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're just kind of just watching us and following us.
It was late Friday. Maybe it was Saturday morning. I'm thinking around 4 a.m. I'm a light sleeper anyway. I wake up many times during the night, even at home. And I heard a distinct whistle, and it wasn't a bird. And it was probably around 4 a.m. And it was loud.
Yes,
it wasn't
Henry
far away
and I
at
were
all.
hearing whistles that last night, weren't we, Henry?
Yes, we were. I was hearing a lot of whistles.
Yeah.
And
Sandy, I remember
growling raccoons.
Yeah. Yeah, well, see, she had raccoons over there. They had left some stuff on the table, so the raccoons are over there by her camp fighting over the goods that were left on the table. But I actually recorded that last night, and I have not had a chance to listen to it. But what was interesting, and I know the owls are very different in this area. We had found that before when we had been there. But what was interesting about this owl call was there was no trill. And this owl was sound off. It had no trill on the end of it, and then we'd hear the whistle. Then we'd hear Mark all the way down at the other end coughing. And Henry and I thought he was doing it on purpose, like he was trying to bring them down there or something, But Mark said he was sleeping. He didn't even know that was going on. Yeah, so I was really thinking we would really get a lot of that Sunday night. And I think we did, but I was all so darn tired that we probably slept through it all. So I'm interested to see what the recording says. I think we were just wiped out. I know every one of us said that it's like taking us all week to get over that. We had so much fun. Henry, do you mind telling, I know I'm putting you on the spot, and you can say, I don't want to do it right now, and that'll be fine, but do you mind telling about what happened to you at this location where we were at another time when you were there?
I was camped by Rock Creek, and the camper that was just west of me was sitting in with me at my campsite when we heard a animal in distress call. It was like a bark, quack, chirp, but it was just one long call, and of course it was a diversionary thing. And I was over there looking, and we saw four Bigfoots walk in to his campsite and start pilfering his campsite. And we watched them for a long time. They knew that we were there, and it didn't faze them at all. They just kept on. I think they were pilfering each campsite, and it was probably my sighting of a lifetime, but maybe not.
It was a sighting of a lifetime for anyone. What time of the morning was this?
I think it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock. We were just sitting there talking. There was a bunch of, there were people in the park. They were coming up the creek, and I think they were going campsite. Each campsite, they were sending the little one in. There was I want to say, a daddy, a mama, a big sister, and baby brother. Now, I don't know if that's for true, the sex of them, but they were sending little brother in, and he was checking stuff out, and they caught one open, and they walked right in there, and Jim said that they ate all his Pop-Tarts. I don't know what kind of Pop-Tarts they were, but it was the closest encounter I've had, and it was pretty much a life-changing thing, but I never felt threatened or anything. They weren't scared of us. They just didn't want to get close to us.
That is. Henry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Henry.
I was just, and then I had read about Charles Hallmark and his stuff going on in there, and I guess they're more accustomed to people and to maybe leftovers and throwing out and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that I've never had a sighting like that. And I don't think anyone else here has either. And you say that's a sighting of a lifetime. It probably is. But if you ever see four more, you were too lucky.
I didn't get to see their features. There was a fire. They stayed between us and the fire the whole time. I could see a silhouette. And I know now what barrel-chested is. And that's also when I hit him with the IR light, and he jumped up and turned around and acted adversely to that. That Bigfoot that night at that place acted adversely to IR light. So I can't say about it, all of them, but it was just amazing. It was, I say it was like 40 minutes long. Jim says it was like 30. But they went across the street and they came back to his, and then they got on the ground and were waiting for us to go to bed or trying to scare us off or something, and were crawling on the ground. And I could see them, see me, see them, and just watched them. And then there was a single wood knock, and I saw them start backing out, and I heard them hit the creek, and I heard the dogs on down the creek barking. So at that time, at that place, a single wood knock meant leave there. I don't know if it meant come here, but it sure meant leave there.
That is fascinating. That is fascinating.
It was.
And I bet we get a lot of comments on that. People are going to love that story. That's just amazing. Well, we have 25 minutes left. What do y'all want to talk about? What's the funniest thing that happened to you guys on this thing? I've just got to know that. What was the funniest thing?
My Lord, this is Sandy. It is hunting the face of Bigfoot for Henry. We passed this one bathroom. No, it's here. No, it's there. No, go back. Barbara was backing illegally in the parking lot, trying to sneak in. I mean, it was a hoot. And me and Henry would just look at each other. But we found that daggone Bigfoot face before we left. Let me tell you.
You did. You're talking about Sasquatch Rock.
Yes, that was it. That's what it was called. That was the mission of the day right there. It was so funny. I haven't laughed that hard in such a long time. Trying to find this one daggone rock.
We looked for it about 2 months ago when we were there and couldn't find it.
We were right there at it, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Our extra camp
I remember telling...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember telling Terry, we got to find this space before it gets dark, or we're going to be back out here with our headlamps looking for this rock for healing.
Well, tell the story of what Squatch Rock is supposed to be about.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I don't really know. Who knows it?
Well, it was the area there where Squatch Rock is it's like a little island area where the creek, it splits apart and then joins back together, and it formed like an island in the creek. And rumor or folklore, legend, whatever, said that the Indians used that little island as a natural corral for their horses. And that whole area around this island was it was the habitat of a Bigfoot clan, I guess you could say. And when the Indians would leave their horses there on this natural corral, the Bigfoot would go in and pretty much do whatever they wanted to with the horses, whether it be kill them or what. And the Indians weren't really happy with that, of course. And so the medicine, what kind, the head, I don't know if it was the chief or who it was.
The medicine man.
The medicine man, that's what I was thinking, but I couldn't remember correctly. But the medicine man cast the head Bigfoot or whatever of that clan into the stone as a warning to the others, and then carved the face of Bigfoot onto this rock, and it's forever been there. And that supposedly was supposed to have kept the Bigfoot away from the horses from then on out. And so that's the legend of Squatch Rock. And you can go down in there and hunt for it, and if you're lucky, you can find it. And it's a pretty interesting little rock.
Wow.
Lori, if you can, maybe you can post it on your website or something.
Yeah, I will. Thanks to you girls, we've got pictures of it now, so great.
Didn't Debbie and Larry and maybe some others have something happen, or they were hearing things that last night we were there?
Yeah. Yeah, we could hear a lot of noises way off in the distance. Sometimes it sounded like calls, but it was pretty far off, and it was happening so often that we decided to get up and go for a night walk. And so me and Larry and Dan and Mark. Yeah, this was on the last night. And the three guys and myself, we went way, way back in the back. And, I mean, there was just nobody and nothing back there, and just walked all through there. And I had the parabolic, and then, of course, we had the FLIR and everything. And anytime I would hear some movement or whatever, we'd signal, and they'd look with the FLIR, and never saw really a whole lot of anything of interest, I guess you could say, but there was definitely some calls going off in the distance, and we knew the direction they were coming from, but then while we were way back there, you could hear the dogs start up, And then it just was more and more, and they were running. And just a big group of dogs finally, started howling and barking together. And so that was really interesting. And we found out the next day that area that we were hearing all of this come from is an Indian reservation over there.
Wow.
And so that was pretty interesting, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the Chickasaw Cultural Center, I believe, is what is over there.
Yeah,
that's what the music
cultural
is coming from all
right.
day.
And they were having something that weekend at the cultural center.
Yeah, they
Some
were.
kind of powwow or something.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
But yeah,
well, Larry,
we
you've been awful quiet. Do you have anything to offer, Larry? You were with them.
Well, not really. I was in charge of watchers that last night. I goofed that up. I turned them on and then forgot to set them as ready. So if anything came in that night, I missed it.
Oh, man.
But other than that, I mean, heard the distant calls. That was really it.
Well,
we came back from,
go ahead, Henry.
The morning we came back from Guy Sandy, Dan and I were out there, and it was starting to get kind of interesting, but we were pretty tired by everybody else had gone to bed. There were some owls coming in that sounded without a trill again, and I just couldn't hold my head up any longer.
It's like no matter what they did, you just couldn't hold your head up any longer.
I couldn't do it.
But speaking of owls, Saturday night, and Debbie and Lori and Lauren and Mark and Larry were all over on one campsite, and me and Henry and Sandy and Barbara were on another campsite. And it was dark, and a barred owl decided he was going to start singing. Well, I heard the guys, someone over in the other camp, mimicking the barred owl. And so the barred owl off, and they were talking back and forth. Well, then the barred owl moved over there closer to our camp, and he started singing. So I made an owl call, and he was talking to me, and I talked back. Next thing you know, there was a park ranger coming up to my camp saying, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm talking to the owls. What does it sound like I'm doing?" And your neighbors over here don't appreciate you're making all that noise. The neighbors, these people right over there, and I said, "Are you kidding me? Those are supposed to be my friends." And he says, they said that your owl call sounds like something run over a cat or something.
No, he said that. We didn't say that. He said that.
That's right.
He said that on his own.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, me too.
About their owl calls. Anyway, I had to stop talking.
I want you to know we didn't say anything about your owl calls.
Really? Well, he did say that.
No.
Yeah, he said y'all said her owl calls were horrible. We needed to quit doing them.
He's the one that came up with that.
Well, I see how it is now.
He threw y'all under the bus.
Yes, he did.
Right.
I knew I didn't like him.
Well, anybody that would get on to Girl Scouts for hanging glow sticks.
Oh yeah.
I mean.
But hey, that was something interesting from that weekend. Is we learned.
Yeah, tell about that.
Yeah, we learned that the Girl Scouts and probably the Boy Scouts too can earn a badge, a Sasquatch badge, in their troops. And I just think that's awesome.
It
So
was.
the Sisters of the Moon went over there and talked to the Girl Scouts and their leaders about Sasquatch for about 45 minutes?
Yeah.
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, and gave them the glow sticks that got them in trouble with the park rangers.
Well, we didn't need to add that.
Well,
So
Dan, do you have anything?
Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, just don't give them any glow sticks.
Did Dan?
Go
Did you
ahead,
have
Vicki
anything
Bell.
that you? Oops, excuse me. I just said, did you hear or see anything while we were there?
I did not see or hear anything that I would say, oh, that's proof positive. But what I did learn a lot, especially from Henry, when she said, I hit him with the IR and he snapped that head around and looked. That told me volumes right there, because many, many years there's been this discussion. Can they see the IR in game tracker cameras? Can they see it from the IR illuminator, later from a night vision scope? And I'm leaning really solidly to yes, they do. And therefore I have cut back the use of any IR through the night vision, which makes it, more difficult to see anything. But if there's any movements, you can spot it, But,
Dan, he was squatted down with his back to me, and I turned on my IR on my night vision, and he came up and turned so fast. All I saw was a squatting big thing, and then I saw him coming to an abrupt stop, and he had turned so fast that the hair on his right side, it was a left-hand turn, the hair on his right side was standing straight out. And he had come to an abrupt stop, and he was locked in on me. So I would say it was adversely. Like I said something about his mama or his dog in our view.
Well, see, now that throws another little thing into the question here. Henry, you say when he turned, the hair on his right side, you could see it move. That's telling us his hair is longer than what, say like a chimpanzee or something like that.
Yeah, it was like a fringe on a leather jacket like we would do. It was it all slung out straight. It was such a quick move that I had a perfect silhouette of him, but I wasn't seeing any details.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question about that. If he had his back to you when you hit him with the IR, how did he see it? It would make more sense that he felt it, wouldn't it?
Henry and I discussed that.
Well, I have a theory on that, and that's if like you shoot like something like a heat gun at something that has the IR light, it puts a red circle on it, but in actuality, that's just the center. The further out the IR light goes, it spreads out, and it spreads out wide. And I feel like that maybe that booger, even though it hit him in the center, he was still seeing it on both sides of him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
But it was an instantaneous reaction. My IR light, it'll focus and get pinpoint like a mag light will, and I had it focused as much as I could. But it was instantaneous. He had a reaction.
Yeah, well, it could be the same thing as if you could replicate that with anybody. Stand somebody off in the cold, pitch black night, and they shine a flashlight towards you. You'll instantly know that there's a flashlight, but even though he's facing away from you, because it lights up his area. And that would say, oh, Lord, maybe they can't distinguish between regular light and IR light. For them, it's all the same. We all got our million-candle power spotlights and tactical lights now, and but what I'm trying to say is that the IR to them is like a flashlight. They can see it.
You can see it with your night vision, too, when anybody don't want to. I just wonder if he might actually receive the same to a flashlight being put on him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what Henry and I have talked about.
Their prime objective is, I didn't mean to walk over you there, but is not to be seen. It's in their genetics. Do not be seen. If you're seen, we're going to take some brownie points off your account and give them to this guy over here. But anyway, that's how I think they are.
But, it does raise an interesting question, like what I asked her a long time ago when she was telling us about it, is if it's, they may actually be able to feel that light, because she said the second it touched him, he spun around, and it was almost as if he had felt it. And, she and I was talking about it, and then we also went on, just like we can see the beam of a flashlight, if it goes past our head, they might have seen the beam from the IR that before it hit him. But she said it was so instantaneous upon hitting him. Of course, we all know how quickly they move, too. So, he might have felt it or he might have seen it, and in that split second spun around just that quick. But it does raise some really, interesting possibilities there.
And I was also wondering, I've been there maybe 5 or 6 times, and I've never seen the raccoons as bad as they were this last time. One other time, I think I had something taken off my table by a raccoon, and I just wonder if that might have anything to do with whether they're close in the area or not. I don't know. Lord, when you saw that by the bathroom.
Point.
And we scared up a bunch of deer, too, when we were out walking around. So I'd never seen raccoons like that there before.
Well, that last night, those raccoons, they sounded like there was a whole army of raccoons. And we were looking out the tent windows because there was so much noise. We thought, okay, there's got to be something better than raccoons going on out there. And we didn't want to miss it. And we were looking out every window that we could and didn't even see the daggum raccoons. And we were standing right there in the window looking in the direction of the sound, couldn't see anything doing anything. But it was constant noise.
I will tell
Sure
y'all this.
was an armadillo.
This area was known for the boogers would use the coons when the coons would come in to, forage, whatever, do their vandalizing. The boogers would use that, and they would come in with them. They used that as a disguise, or that's what they used to do back in the day.
Oh, they're training the raccoons, the Bigfoot are, to go in and raid picnic baskets.
Well, it's opportunity.
The dirty work.
They use the opportunity and the noise and the coons as a diversion. People are thinking that's the coons, and they're sneaking in with them. That's the way it used to be back in the day. Now, we hadn't been out there researching enough to know if that's all changed, but that's how they used to do.
That makes me think that the intel that we had going into this spot, we had Matthew Knapp, Dan and Vicki that had been researching this spot for 20 years or better. A lot of people want to claim that this is their spot, but these people that claim that, they're the ones that showed them this spot. And then we had Henry and the Sisters of the Moon that have researched this spot. And it was really a good thing to go into this area with all this background intel that we had.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I even had an encounter there, a sighting. So, yeah. That was a long time ago, but
Matthew Knapp and Chad Scott had an enormous amount of time that they spent at this area researching. They I just can't even begin to tell what all the stuff they learned while they were there.
And Matt had told us about, where you and Lori were talking about that y'all were hearing the noise on the bridge, Vicki.
Yeah.
I remember Matt talking to us before we ever went out there, telling us that he had seen, I think he said at least 3. Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, but he had a sighting, or someone had a sighting right there, not far from that area, where a group of 3, I believe, went over to the wood line.
Yes, he did.
That's what I was thinking. So we know they're there, because 2 or 3 in our group that were there last weekend with us had sightings there, and then a couple that, Matt and others that have had sightings there were giving us, information. And, I mean, it's a wonderful area.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
Just because.
It is beautiful.
Just because something, and you didn't get the ooh, wow, and all of that, you could go back there the next week, and you may just get more than you wanted.
Exactly.
That's kind of how that goes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing a BB gun next time for some raccoons.
I wish Dan had brought his slingshot.
Well, y'all said Buddy was a good coon dog, wasn't he?
Yes. Dan, tell what Buddy did. I wasn't there. You tell it.
Well, this unique outing anyway, my daughter had showed up down there. I haven't seen her in quite a few years, and brought my grandson with her, and we were sitting by the fire. Well, everybody else went out having fun. I sat there and enjoyed being my daughter, though. But anyway, we were sitting there, and next thing, Buddy was on his leash, and all of a sudden he just kind of, like he lunged in trying to attack. And there was this great big old boar coon there, and he run that coon off, and so therefore I gave Buddy a new name, called him Coon Killer. And then we got up and we patrolled all the tents and everything, and Buddy would catch their scent, and he was one. I believe he's a coon dog.
Well, he's just not big enough to back that up. He's a miniature schnauzer, folks. And the coons in there would make probably 2 or 3 of him, but I think he got his bluff in on this one.
I tell you, I think one of them big old boys, but one of them coons could have eaten him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I think the size of the dog in the fight is the size of the fight in the dog. But he's got it.
I would have keeled over myself. Luckily, I wasn't there, but I would have just keeled over to see him lunging at that coon.
When I had got there, me and Sandy got there, we had talked to the camp host, and the camp host had told us that just within the last 3 or 4 days, something has been raising the lid on the dumpsters and pulling garbage out. And,
yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and he even said he didn't think it was a raccoon doing it, because he didn't see how a raccoon could raise the lid on that dumpster. And these dumpsters had steel lids on it that you had to stick your hand inside to push a lever to raise it. And we just thought that was really exciting, so we were keeping an eye on the dumpsters.
Yeah,
that's
they were
right.
like that when we ran across out at the lake. Me and Lori couldn't figure out how to get it raised up. Lauren had to show us.
Yeah.
But, on that Sunday, they brought a dumpster, put it right there by where we were all camping that last night, and I heard something messing with the dumpster. Did you, Henry?
No, I didn't put my headphones on till later on when the growling was going on.
Oh, okay.
That dumpster that he had moved up there was the one of them that he had told us that had been having, something get into it.
Okay. Well, I promise this week I'm going to... Hello, am I still here?
Yes.
Yeah, you're here.
Wow, my phone did a weird deal. I didn't know. I thought it hung up on me. Okay. The most exciting part, other than meeting all of y'all, was when me and Mark and Lauren were on a dark trail with no lights down close to Little Niagara. We were walking towards Little Niagara, and we heard Dan do a call, and then all of a sudden the woods came alive. He had movement on both sides, and we just got super excited. The FLIR told us that it was armadillos. For a brief second, or about 5 or 10 seconds, I was so excited because I thought this is a reenactment of the last time I was there, you know. But during the time that we were on that trail, we did smell urine at different places. We smelled what smelled like dog poop or hog poop, you know, just a real nasty smell. And, of course, you know, the next day we checked it out. We couldn't find any dog poop, but the dog poop was moving around. I would have to say that it was doing that because it wasn't in the same place. There was one time that Lauren actually got a very strange signature on the FLIR that didn't look like, it looked kind of splotchy. So all in all, I think we did an excellent job as researchers. I think we did an excellent job having a blast. And we did an excellent job at sharing information, getting to know new people, and making new friends. And it's probably my last time to do anything this summer because it's just getting too hot. But I tell you what, I had the best time, and I thank you all for inviting Lauren and I. And we're so happy that you came on the show tonight. But actually, the show is over. Is there anything that anybody wants to share before we say goodnight? I'm going to put Sandy back on. I had to mute her. I think she was cleaning her kitchen or something. But there she is. She's back on. So anybody want to share anything?
Well, I'd just like to say my favorite part of this was Dan being able to see his daughter Ivy and his grandson Scotty that he hasn't seen in 10 years. And I don't know, that just brought so much joy to my heart. And then I got to meet Lori and Lauren and Barbara and Sandy. That was exciting. And the thing that I hate the most is that Shelley had to work and wasn't able to come. And so that the rest of the sisters and Lori and Lauren wasn't able to meet Shelley. So,
or
but
Slade.
That was the only
I
thing.
Wanted to meet Slade too.
Oh,
yes.
We're going to have to arrange that. Because you've got to meet Slade, Monk, and Donna Holman.
I know.
Camp.
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 Oh.
Camp.
You guys are amazing. Keep on squatching. You guys know what you're doing. You're excellent. I was impressed with everybody, honestly. I just really was. And the nicer bunch of people you never meet. I was telling Mark that I have never been on an outing where I liked absolutely everybody there. They're all, and Vicki can attest to this, there'd always be at least one person that I would be dodging or grumbling about or something like that, but not this time. Everyone was just audacious. Just loved them all. Well,
we might have to make a yearly thing of this. Get
together.
Yes.
Definitely.
I'm all for it.
Sounds
I
good.
just can't wait to hang back out with all y'all again. It was just wonderful.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I know. And it was wonderful to see Vicki navigate the Niagara, and that Henry almost jumped in to save her. She come back and said she's gone over the waterfall, and I said, "What?"
He was down for like 5 seconds. I appreciate y'all just walking around with me with my life jacket on, walking in ankle deep water.
You was out there in the deep water.
It was a wonderful time.
It was.
Well, we hate to say goodnight, but it's that time, and we just want to tell everyone out there, thank you for listening to our show, and we're going to miss y'all, but we will be back September 2nd. And so y'all have a wonderful and safe summer. Same way with all my new friends here and my old friends, and I love you all. And
love you.
We all want everybody to say good night. Say good night.
Good
night.
Good night.
Happy
Keep
swatching.
on swatching.
All right. Keep
Bye,
on
y'all.
swatching. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank you for listening to Nite Callers Bigfoot Radio.